I'm here with Blue Blood Thoroughbreds top Melbourne trainer Mick Price at his Caulfield stables to talk about our Zabeel filly that we have on offer. Mick, you personally handpicked this filly from the Karaka Sale in New Zealand. What attracted you to want this filly in your stable?
Look, the first thing, we spend a fair bit of time looking at Patrick Hogan's fillies. They're very difficult to buy, the nice Zabeel fillies, and we had it picked out. It wasn't one of those big, sort of $500,000, big rangy 16 hand Zabeel fillies that everyone wants, and that sometimes work and sometimes don't. She's a bit of a different Zabeel filly. She's very sprightly, spunky on her feet, lighter. I think if you buy the Zabeels, you need to buy them the ones that are going to grow into something rather than the ones that are already too big, which is what we've done here. She also, I think she should be attractive to owners in the sense that not going to take forever to mature. You know, she's just, when you see her, when you look at her, she's just that sort of 12, 14, 16. You know, she's just lively, bit stubborn, spunky filly, good temperament, but plenty of dash in her, you know.
So being a Zabeel filly, she'll be very sought after as a broodmare when her racing career is over.
Well, already Zabeel is leading the broodmare sires list as a sire of mares that get good horses. I think he's in front of Dane Hill. He's very dominant. You see Atlantic Jewel and Ocean Park. He's very dominant. We've had a couple here, and you get the Zabeel in them. You know, so you have to be a bit careful how you mate the Zabeel mares. I think you wouldn't want to mate them to too many sprinting stallions. And if you're going to buy them out of Zabeel mares, you need to buy them with a bit of stretch about them, because they're sort of going to get a mile and 2,000 metres. But I know the New Zealand breeders are keeping a lot at the moment, and they're selling their colts and keeping their Zabeel fillies. So he's already a really good broodmare sire, and he's just going to get better and better.
And looking at her pedigree, what kind of distances could we see her run over?
Look, I wouldn't be selling her on the basis that you think she's an Oaks filly. I'd be saying she's spunky enough for 1200, 1400, 1600. She's out of a Stravinsky mare. You look at the pedigree, there's all those mile fillies in. The 1,000 Guineas winner in the third dam, I think, is all mile stuff. It's 12, 14, 16, 18. Reminds me a little bit of that Lights of Heaven, as in, I know she ran place in the Caulfield Cup, but as a autumn 3-year-old, she was really dominant in the mile, 18, 2,000 metre races. That's what sort of filly I think this will be.
And what about her program from here? What can we expect?
Well, she's booked to come over. As we speak, she's still in New Zealand. She's booked to come over. We'll have a look at her. I'm tempted to want to say we'll give her a month off before we break her, because I reckon she'll have a 2-year-old year which has preparations in it, but it would be highly unlikely that you would see a Zabeel filly at the races as a 2-year-old. I would think that if we get a late run out of her as a latter 2-year-old, have her for the spring, and as a sort of 3-year-old filly, and then you'll see the best of her in the autumn as a 3-year-old filly.
The Zabeel filly, and what a thrill to have a Zabeel in any stable. We know what a stallion he's been, what a champion stallion. We know he's coming to the end of his great career, and Sir Patrick Hogan certainly doesn't allow Zabeel to serve many mares nowadays, just to continue him on as long as possible. Out of Lady Fashion, a Stravinsky mare. She was a winner at 1,200 metres over in New Zealand, so you get a combination of the stamina of Zabeel with the speed of a Stravinsky mare who was able to win over 1,200 metres. This is her third foal. She's already produced one horse who has placed, called Travel Wise, over in New Zealand. So Mick, I'll start with you. This is a Zabeel filly. It's great to have a Zabeel in the stable, naturally. What did you like about her?
Look, I think she's some of those Zabeels that we see at the yearling sales that are sort of already 16-1 and 16-2. Whilst they bring massive amounts of money, you never see them on the race course. You know, you can get a very big horse that's Zabeel, but I just prefer the horse like that that's going to come on a bit. She's very sound and correct. She doesn't seem to have the really hot Zabeel temperament. Some of them can be a bit temperamental, but she's cool and calm, and I just think she's a lovely filly. I think it's a good buy if you were to consider buying in, because she's had a year where she's just been allowed to grow out. So rather than buy her last year, let Carol pay all the costs and buy in this year.
Plus, also, we know the record that Zabeel mares have. So if you stay involved in this horse, and you've got a big balloon at the end, because the Zabeel mares are just in such demand from a broodmare proposition.
He is a top broodmare sire, as he was a stallion. Look, especially if we get a autumn 3-year-old staying filly out of her, which is more than likely. Some of those races in South Australia, which are black type and can fall away a bit. I think it'd be ideal for a horse like her to be aimed into those races. As I said, they're not the hardest races to win or be placed in, and they're black type. And I think if you get black type with this filly, it'd be worth a lot of money.
So she is naturally not going to be a 2-year-old. You're going to take your time with her and aim at a 3-year-old career with her?
Yeah, exactly. So she's been given a bit of time, and I just think that it's now probably the right time to buy into her and get her going.
Johnny, you've been working with this Zabeel filly, and have you worked with Zabeels in the past, and what sort of an impression have you got of her?
Pardon me, we haven't done a lot with her, Richo. She's a nice filly. We've given her plenty of time. Carol and Blue Blood team have been very patient with her, and she's growing out all the time. And as Mick said, he's had a plan for her to come in very shortly and start getting her ready for the new year, and then poke along quietly with her. So she's just... we're treating her as Mick does with these Zabeel staying types. There's been no pressure put on her, and she's been given all the time in the world, and I think we're going to benefit from that. As Mick said, he's got a plan for her, and that'll go into practice as soon as he tells us to.
We look forward to seeing her, and she is, of course, as I said, available. So have a chat to Carol Walsh straight after we finish, if you're interested.